Something I've noticed is really crucial for me as a neurodivergent is having some pretty firm, hard rules about self-care. I know around sleep, I can experience the ADHD second wind at like 9 p.m. and then it will keep me up. I'll have delayed sleep onset already, and then I'll engage in activities that keep my brain awake even longer and make me less inclined to have a deeper sleep, and so it's more wakeful rather than restful. And when I wake up, the sleep is not restorative. And then I end up feeling like I'm going through the day like a zombie. It's exacerbates my autism and ADHD symptoms. It makes me barely functional. My attention span goes out the window. My executive dysfunction ramps up. So I've had to be really, really rigid about following a certain procedure around sleep. For example, I will set a timer or let's say an alarm or calendar reminder, at least initially until I got into the groove of things, to remind me to go to bed at a certain time. And there are inbuilt timers as well on our phones that can set our phone to monochrome mode or do some kind of shift to signify that we should be winding down, not engaging with our phone. And I even got a lockbox for my phone to stop me engaging in doom scrolling before bed because of revenge bedtime procrastination. I try to have really good sleep hygiene. I don't do things in bed other than relaxing. I have wind down time before I go to bed. I try not to engage with devices an hour before bed. No gaming, at least 1 or 2 hours before bed. I don't eat before bed. Before I begin my wind down time, I take my sleep medications, knowing it's going to kick in after a certain amount of time. And I don't engage in any kind of social activities leading up to that because it's going to interfere with my wind down as well. So these are some of the rules that I put in place to make sure that I get to bed on time and that I have restorative sleep, and it's worked a wonder. The combination of all these things has allowed me to get better sleep and feel more restored and feel more functional in the day as a result. Another thing is, socially speaking, I will tap out at maximum 3 hours of social interaction. I'll try to keep it to maybe an hour or 2 hours. I try to make sure that it's a low impact social exchange, like there's a non-overwhelming sensory environment, so not a crowded or loud area with too many people and too much movement or too much activity. I can still venture into those kinds of environments, but I limit my time in there because I know I need that to kind of safeguard my mental health. I might wear earplugs or one ear plug in or noise canceling headphones if I'm not directly socially interacting with people, just to kind of cut down that feedback. If I'm outdoors, I'll wear sunglasses to cut down light, because light can be overwhelming, surprisingly. I'll do everything to manage my sensory needs. I'll limit my social interactions to a set time. And I know that way I can leave it with some degree of energy present, and I can go engage in a restorative activity afterwards, like playing a video game or reading a comic or reading a book or hanging out with my dogs. So those are the kind of rules that I follow generally with my social interactions, because I know otherwise I'm going to burn out. If I don't engage in these rigid rules of self-care, if I do, like, for example, stack successive social outings one day after the other, or engage in high intensity social interactions, whether it's sequentially or just for one period, there's a high chance I'm going to be overloaded and burn out, especially if I don't fit in that restorative time afterward, engaging in an activity that helps me feel better afterward. It helps me feel restored, rested, and recharged. Do you have any hard rules for your self-care as a neurodivergent person that you know you need to stick to? Otherwise, you start slipping into struggles with mental health, general health, unhappiness, depression, or anxiety symptoms. I know that that's crucial for me, and I've come to these rules as a result of hard-earned experience. And I know that I sometimes will deviate from them, and there'll be consequences, and it will be serving as a reminder as to why I'm being so rigid about the rules. How do other people react to that as well? I've noticed that people who are neurotypical or don't understand your specific challenges, can be judgmental or make assumptions about you, or just see the rigidity as a byproduct of rigid thinking, which we're definitely capable of, without understanding that there are reasons in place as to why we're doing these things, that we're being responsible adults taking care of ourselves and our needs, where without the expectation that anybody else will. I would love to hear all about your experiences.